Whether you're looking for a commercial center or a home center, there are some things in common that you want to be looking for. First and foremost, licensing. There's rules and regulations because they're held to certain standards, and also because that way you can really check on them, whether it's before you become an enrollee at that center or down the road, if you just want to check in periodically and get feedback on where the school stands with their licensing and their quality assurance programs. Quality centers enroll quickly, there's not a lot of spaces available, and you want to kind of feel like you have the upper hand. You want to have your checklist in hand when you go out to these places, or even on the phone before you spend the time to go and look around. Things to consider are how large the center is. Is this something that you're looking for? A lot of the big commercial centers are up to really like 120 children. An in-home center could be maybe up to 15 children, again, depending on your state. So thinking about what your goals are, what the size of the center is, what their capacity is, how much space they have available, and what does that mean classroom by classroom, or in a home center, age group by age group. Is your child going to be one of 20 with 2 teachers? Is it going to be one of 8 with 1 teacher? So depending on your child's age and your state rules, that'll be the guide for your school, but some schools are very reasonable about it, and they put as much staff as they can in the classroom, and they do better than the state's minimum requirements. So these are things to compare from school to school or from home center to home center. Lots to think about. Also, teachers. What are their requirements as far as hiring? What minimum requirements do they have? What does your center look for in a teacher above and beyond what the state's minimum is? So again, you're going to find great differences here. Then that also translates to what do they have their teachers do? Do they create their own lesson plans? Is that handed to them? Again, neither is a deal breaker, but just something for you to be aware of when you're looking at a center and thinking about your child's style, what you're looking for is a good fit for your family. The other thing, really important, staff turnover. If your child falls in love with a teacher and that teacher is really special to them and really helpful to them in making this transition, and then you walk in one day and they're gone, and that happens repeatedly, obviously that's not great. To some extent, this is an industry standard. Turnover is, it's something that all the schools fight with. But if you can ask for an indication of that, it really lets them know the level of questioning that you have. They know that you're really informed, and also, of course, the answer is going to be helpful to you in making a decision. The other important thing is, do they have conferences? Do they assess the kids throughout the year? Will you have an opportunity to kind of hear more than, as you're picking up and you're grabbing shoes and a sleeping bag, and they're like, oh, we had a great day. A chance to really sit down with the teacher and hear more about what are they learning, and do they have any challenges that you should be aware of, or things that you can work on at home. And this is true even for the little guys. Infants, some centers actually have lesson plans for infants. So it may seem all foreign to you now. Someday this will be your everyday reality. So questions to ask, because if you do fall in love with the center and you could be there for years, these questions are going to be important. Finally, you want to think about quality assurance. Aside from the state, who else is checking in on these guys? Do they want to hear from parents? Do they send out postcards where you can let them know what you're thinking and what you'd like to see? So as you can see, there is a lot to think about when you're looking at a center. Don't mean to, make your head spin, but if you follow these bullets, it will really give you a good set of things to think about as you're initially looking at a center.